The police officer didn't realise the woman was deaf. This is not unique. This is very common when domestic abuse incidents are first reported to the police. We will outline another 3 scenarios to give us an idea of what it's like for some deaf survivors and what we can do to improve their experience. This shows how just a qualified interpreter is not enough. The interpreter booked needs additional relevant training and experience to handle situations like this. It's important to have an independent domestic abuse advisor, an IDAA. Ideally who works with deaf clients because they are more aware about both domestic abuse and deafness. There are few IDAAs who can sign out there, and none of them are currently based in Scotland. We have to consider the suitability of interpreters. Some female domestic abuse survivors will not feel comfortable with many men in the room, especially when their faith or cultural norms are different from mainstream British society, just like the woman we saw. Another reason she requested an Asian interpreter was because, like many deaf people who grew up within a different culture abroad or here in the UK, they communicate with different sign language or dialect, which is unfamiliar to many interpreters who train in standardised British Sign Language. So it is important to check with deaf survivors about their preferences to ensure full access. Even if a deaf survivor has full access in terms of communication, lack of deaf awareness among professionals can have a detrimental impact on the interview process. It can create more fear and stress for a person reporting violence at an already difficult time. In the scenario we just saw, it's clear that the social worker's behaviour is not appropriate. Questioning her client's ability as a parent because of her deafness and physically stopping the interpreter from signing. What could make a difference here? Deaf awareness training. It could benefit hugely if it is made a standard for all professionals working to support people who have experienced domestic abuse to receive this training. What about deaf women and girls? We found that there isn't enough evidence of incidences of domestic abuse in the deaf community. We found that there are no standard procedures for the front line to support deaf women and girls. We found that it is hard for deaf women and girls to report. We found that there is a lack of outreach in deaf communities. Are the needs for deaf women and girls, their preferred language, their culture and their faith being recorded properly? Accessing the right information means deaf people who experience domestic abuse get the right support. Check out deaf organisations, both local and national. They will be able to guide you to find the right support as well as resources. In 2015, the Scottish Government passed the BSL Scotland Act. There's more information on their page. Now, when you meet a deaf survivor, what will you do?